Hello and welcome to the Washington State Board of Nursing's BONcast. I'm Karl Hoehn, and I'd like to welcome you and hope you enjoy learning about our state's Board of Nursing, officially called the Nursing Care Quality Assurance Commission, specifically about the work we do to ensure the safety and well-being of the people of Washington State. In this episode, we welcome Adam Canary, LPN, a member of the Commission. He's also the Secretary-Treasurer and serves as the chair of the Discipline Subcommittee. Catherine Woodard, Director of Discipline for the Commission, joins him.
Well, hello, I'm Adam Canary. I currently hold an LPN license in Washington State and also a nursing home administrator license. I'm chair of the Discipline Subcommittee and Secretary-Treasurer for the Nursing Commission.
Hi there, and I'm Catherine Woodard. I am the Director of Discipline and Washington Health Professional Services. We're going to talk today a little bit about the disciplinary process and help alleviate your concerns that a complaint against you or your colleague does not spell immediate doom for your nursing career. I know that's a fear for many people. We're going to walk you through the process and show you exactly what we do. Adam, you want to explain a little bit about this?
Yeah, I think the biggest, most important part is that the discipline is a part of the regulatory responsibility of the Nursing Care Quality Assurance Commission. So we also hope that you can learn about each of the facets of the Nursing Commission from our webpage and from other recorded BONcasts found at nursing.wa.gov. And Catherine, I think one of the big RCWs to start with is 18.79.010, which defines the purpose of the Nursing Commission. And that is to regulate the competency and quality of professional healthcare providers under our jurisdiction by establishing, monitoring, and enforcing qualifications for licensing, consistent standards of practice, continuing competency mechanisms, and discipline as well. That's where we come in. Rules, policies, and procedures developed by the Nursing Commission must promote the delivery of quality healthcare to the residents of the great state of Washington.
So 1879-120 gives us the authority to apply the Uniform Disciplinary Act, which governs unlicensed practice, the issue and denial of licenses, and the discipline of licensees. And one more RCW for you, the Uniform Disciplinary Act is defined in RCW 18.130.180. It names 28 acts that define the unprofessional conduct. A sampling of these range from criminal convictions to substandard care, drug diversion to financial exploitation, abuse to unlicensed practice, moral turpitude, dishonesty, or corruption, practice beyond scope, and many more. So let's put this all into context. Adam, since you're the chair of the Discipline Subcommittee and you also chair the case management team, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes, let's give our audience an idea of how many complaints we receive each year.
Just to lay some facts out, we have over 147,000 licensed nurses in the state of Washington. In the calendar year of 2021, we received 2,588 complaints. That's less than 2% of nurses who may have committed an act of unprofessional conduct. Keyword is may have. And of those complaints, the commission authorized 799 to investigations, which equals 31% of the total complaints. From those investigations, the commission took 162 disciplinary actions, so only 6% of those 799 investigations actually yielded discipline action. And that equals only 0.1% of all licensed nurses in this state. And lastly, what everyone fears the most is permanent revocation. And in the past 10 years, the commission issued only 23 of those revocations.
So when we talk about revocations, we're talking about permanently losing the nursing license. A few of the most notable cases for revocation included criminal convictions for attempted murder, manslaughter, rape, sexual abuse of many patients, domestic violence poisoning combined with other domestic violence-related crimes, and diversion with intent to distribute. The next most significant action against a license is suspension, which is never permanent unless a nurse fails to comply and/or chooses not to reinstate their license. Most suspensions are imposed because either the nurse agreed to it or did not respond to a statement of charges.
So now that you know about the commission's authority to regulate nurses and why they might discipline, let's walk through the process. So a complaint comes in, known as complaint intake. Then it moves to an assessment, And from the assessment, it can go one of a few ways. Either it goes to early remediation, which we'll define shortly, or it goes to close casure or open to investigation. If it is open to investigation, then it moves to case disposition. From case disposition, one of two things happens. We either recommend to close the case or legal action, also known as adjudication, occurs. If legal action's taken, we go down one of two routes, pre-hearing or settlement attempt. Catherine, do you want to explain from the hearing side point?
Actually, let's back up just a little bit and tell everybody about how we get complaints in the first place, since that's where it starts. The complaints come to us from a variety of sources and can be filed on our website by mail or by phone. They can come from parents, patients, families, colleagues, family of the nurse, facilities, supervisors. And did you know about the mandatory reporting rule that according to law and rule, healthcare professionals are required to report any nurse who commits an act which constitutes unprofessional conduct, as well as information that indicates a nurse may be unable to practice with reasonable skill and safety as a result of a physical or mental condition. This also includes substance use disorder. So once we get the complaint, a redacted version, meaning the names of the participants, the facilities, everything, all redacted, goes on an agenda for commission review every Tuesday morning. This is the panel that Adam chairs, 3 commission members called the case management team, and they decide which complaints meet the threshold to forward for investigation. If the commission closes the complaint before investigation, we send a notice of this decision to the complainant and to the nurse. If the commission authorizes an investigation, we send a notice to the nurse, who we now call the respondent. This is usually sent by mail, but can also come via paper mail. That's why it's really important to notify the nursing commission if you change your mailing or email address. The notification letter will contain the assigned investigator's name and email. So Adam, you want to describe the investigations part?
So unless they're a high priority case and require immediate attention, those are usually cases that involve imminent patient harm, and we work to complete those within 30 days. Investigators contact the respondent nurse when they begin to work on the case, and they have 170 days to conduct the investigation. The goal is to get it done much quicker, but it can take 170 days plus. Many factors may reduce or extend this timeline. It is not common for the investigator to brief the respondent nurse on the progress of the investigation, but we are responsive if you call and ask. The investigator almost always requests a statement from the respondent nurse, and this is the opportunity of that nurse to tell their side of the story to the commission, who will review the report and evidence in the file. The investigation is a fact-finding mission and contains no opinions. The evidence that makes up the electronic file consists largely of statements of involved parties, records, and investigations conducted by other parties such as facilities, law enforcement, or other state agencies. Nurses are compelled to cooperate throughout the entire disciplinary process and may be disciplined if they do not. Then the commission may recommend cases for an alternative to discipline track called early remediation, also known as ER, when it is appropriate. The intent of the ER program is to protect the public by resolving allegations of practice deficiencies which are less serious in nature. Some of these can be substandard nursing practice, failure to properly assess, document, or administer meds, failure to comply with scope of practice requirements or delegation laws, errors in transcribing orders, rude and non-therapeutic communication with patients and their family members. Now, some cases are not eligible for ER, and those include diversion, abuse, fraud, theft, deceit, or intentional misconduct, conduct resulting in more than minor patient harm. ER program participants typically agree to complete certain coursework to resolve the allegations, and if the nurse successfully completes everything, the case is closed without disciplinary action. Another alternative to discipline track involves substance use disorder cases, most commonly drug diversion. This is discussed in the Washington Health Professional Services BONcast, and I urge you to listen to it. After the investigation is completed, we refer to the next step in the process as case disposition.
This is where we get into where the lawyers are involved. This step takes approximately 140 days to complete. Again, unforeseen factors may shorten or extend the timeline. A staff attorney and a reviewing commission member each study the case and determine the next steps. A panel of 3 commission members plus the reviewing commission deliberate on the merits of the case and make decisions on whether to pursue discipline or close the case with no further action. Remember what we said about conducting the investigation. It's fact-finding only, no opinions. And then as the staff attorney and reviewing commission member look at it closely, they are able to see if evidence supports the allegations that were made against the nurse to support moving on further with the investigation. Legal action may involve a settlement where both parties agree to sanctions. Or if not, the case may proceed with a formal statement of charges and end at a hearing in front of a health fault judge if the nurse requests one. This is a simplified version of all the moving pieces that may occur during the adjudicative phase that we call case disposition. And this is what Adam referred to a little bit earlier about the different phases of working up to a hearing. That's like the last piece if it goes that far. We don't have that many hearings because cases are usually settled before they get to a hearing. And then the last compliance after all of this is completed is compliance monitoring, which means we monitor nurses to ensure compliance with disciplinary orders. Many things can be written into a disciplinary order, such as requirements to complete classes, to remediate deficiencies, or serve a period of time of suspension from practice. If a nurse is not compliant, further discipline may result. And now the last thing we'd like you to know about is a discipline subcommittee. This is the committee that Adam chairs. Adam, do you want to describe what we do?
So the subcommittee is comprised of 7 commission members, all who work on the discipline side of the house in some capacity. This subcommittee does the work on the commission's strategic plan, and that includes writing, updates, and review procedures, also making recommendations for action to the full commission at the business meetings. The subcommittee also stays abreast of anything related to discipline that would affect our work or things we might consider doing to improve our work. The meetings are held virtually and open to the public. We post the agendas to GovDelivery, and you can subscribe to be on this email list. And you can see more details about all the things we covered here when you go to nursing.wa.gov.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope we've been a little helpful in dissecting the pieces of the discipline process so you have a better understanding of what happens should you receive that letter in the mail that says a complaint has been filed. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
On behalf of Washington State's Board of Nursing, thank you for listening to our BONcast. Be on the lookout for future episodes.